Hey everyone, welcome back to Observe. Now, if you remember in last week's video, I told you what books you should read if you're interested in learning about nonverbal communication. Well, today I'm going to tell you what TV shows you should watch. Now, there might be one or two of you that's thinking to yourself, I really hope that you're not turning this channel into one of those top 5 list things, quick, easy, helpful, success kind of channels. Who doesn't really care about information or learning, they just really care about the numbers. Fortunately for you, that's not going to happen because I can't stand those kind of channels to begin with. That being said, today's video is going to be a top 5 TV shows list. However, I'm going to explain to you why you should watch these TV shows, or at least why I do so. I mean, you can if you like. So the first one on that list is obviously going to be The Mentalist. I just wanted to mention that one first because it was one of the biggest inspirations for me to be able to start and, well, develop Observe. But that being said, the reason that I watch The Mentalist and the reason that you can and what you can learn from it is that Patrick Jane, there's a few things about him that are pretty cool. First is his personality, his character quality. The guy has been through a lot of pain and a lot of suffering, and he maintains this positivity that's really, really beneficial. Not only if you maintain a positive mentality will you start to feel a little bit better, but it also can really, really assist your work ethic a lot as well. That being said, along with that, The Mentalist himself, he kind of finds a good balance, in my opinion, of practical observation skills. You can see it in through a good number of the episodes, but also he has a good sleight of hand about him, knows how to do a few magic tricks, which comes from his background in the circus or the carnival. And then finally, he also has his charm, which that one's a pretty big one that a lot of people, especially going into this field, really do lack. He's a very, very personable and likable guy, and that's something that I really did like about him. Next on the list is going to be the bold, blaring, obvious Sherlock from BBC. Now, this show is a great cinematic show. It does a very good job at revealing mysteries as the story progresses, and you get to kind of see the evidence that Sherlock does, and then that allows you to almost make your own connections to come up with your own conclusion as the hero or Sherlock does himself. It's a very cool show. That being said, the deductions that you find in there, I'm not a big fan of, because it paints this romanticized view of being able to just glance at somebody and know everything about them, and then you go and you try to practice it and you run into the issue of reaching too far and trying too hard and trying to read into stuff that you see a little bit too much. And that's something that the show does, to where he just is never wrong, and all throughout that show there are so many other options that could be presented that he just misses for the sake of painting his skill set as almost a superpower. That being said, brilliant show. If you haven't watched it, you're probably living under a rock, and I doubt all of you have seen. Moving on to the next one, which is, hear me out on this, Elementary. I really do like the show Elementary, despite its straying pretty heavily from the main Sherlock canonical story sequence. So usually, obviously, it's Sherlock and John Watson, and they're working over in the UK on various cases, so on and so forth. That being said, in this one, it's all switched around to where they're no longer in the UK, they're in the US, and John is now Joan, and there's some other things that are in there that I won't spoil the show for you if you haven't watched it already. However, I do suggest you watch it, and the reason for this, don't watch it so much to watch Sherlock, watch it to watch a good observational detective work a case, work crime scenes, and be efficient in those crime scenes in a very eclectic and eccentric way. Anyway, that's why I would watch Elementary. The next one on the list is Lie to Me. Now, Lie to Me strikes closest to home for Observe because it is centered around nonverbal communication. This is the only show that centers around nonverbal communication. It was only up for 3 seasons, which I found to be terrible. I really wish that it could have been up for longer than that. That being said, Cal Lightman is based heavily off of Paul Ekman, which is the leading researcher and scientist in the microexpression and expression realm. But Paul Ekman said himself that the Paul Ekman group is very different from the Cal Lightman group in that the Cal Lightman group was really made a little bit more brash and mischievous than you could really get away with in real life. So that being said, he did approve of the TV show Lie to Me. He saw them and he thought, this is very good. They ran everything by him, which is a good idea. That being said, as a fellow studier of body language, I will say that there's a lot of Lie to Me that is way overly dramatized in order to allow everybody to pick up on the tells that are there. So watch it, learn what you can from how Cal works, and then go ahead and actually pick up a book and do your own personal study, because a lot of the times it's going to be very limited. Now, last one on the list is, it's Psych. I like Psych. I've watched it some. My wife has introduced me to the show, and I enjoy it for what it is. I think that it's not my favorite show. That being said, what I learn from it and what I take away from it is his ability to just observe well and see everything in quite good detail. That being said, there are some parts where it's a little bit overblown, so to speak, because no one is able to walk into a room and then read size 7 font on a paper across the room. That's just not how the human body works. But that being said, his mindset and his constant observation is what I take away from it, so it's what you can also take away from it. And then also, all of these that I have listed are just good shows in general, so keep watching them and learning what you can, and also just enjoy them. There's a few other shows that I've heard that are out now that I'm interested in, one of which is called Mindhunters, and it's supposed to be pretty cool from what I've heard, but I haven't gotten around to looking at it, so I can't actually tell you here nor there. So anyways, that's all that I'm going to do for the content of today's video. A little bit of another announcement for you so that you can keep this in mind is that I'm considering trying to get some master classes up on my Patreon so that you are able to learn personally from me. I'm working out the details on how to do that. Jordan from The Art of Deduction, he does this already for himself, so I'm interested in picking it up myself, and it might help me to be able to help you, and you help me. It's cool. Stay tuned for that. I'm also going to try to get a little bit more active on my social media. I do have a Twitter. I don't ever use the Twitter. I do have a Facebook. I rarely use the Facebook. I should start an Instagram, and I'm pretty active on YouTube. And then there's the Patreon side of thing. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy it, hit the like button. If you didn't, there's that dislike button. I suppose that's up to you. If you want to see more videos like this, and then a little bit more educational, informative videos, go ahead and hit subscribe. I'm putting up hopefully weekly. What I'm doing is I'm trying to get these smaller, more basic episodes out to you like this, and then working on one bigger, more high quality video as well every once in a while. And use the little bell notification thing so that you could see when those videos come out so you don't miss them in your feed timeline thing. But without further ado, that's all that I've got for the day. My name is Logan, and you have been oh so awesome as always. And I will see you in the next video. Cheers, guys.
It's only time apart. In no time, we gon' be right back. Right by my side like a monkey on my back. It's been a ride.